Hello, my lovely Libra, and welcome back to your general energy reading for April. Do remember this is a general reading, so please do take what resonates and toss the rest, or check out the other signs in your chart if they resonate with you a bit more. However, if you do enjoy this reading, please do like, subscribe, share, all that great stuff. It is free, it is fun, and it helps to get it to the other Libras in the family. Otherwise, without further ado, let's go ahead and get out there and get this started for you. Try to find out what we might have going on for the month of April. April is a month of big changes. I know we have an eclipse, I believe. We have some lining up of Jupiter in late April with some moons. We have a couple double moons, or a double moon, I believe, in late April. So we have some celestial type changes, astrology type changes that are long time coming. Okay, so things are making changes they haven't made in a long time. So you might be feeling some shifts going on in your world. But let's go ahead and get in here and see what we can find out for you. So this top row is indicative of kind of where you are or have been for some time. Do remember in tarot that gender is neutral and time is fluid. So where you've been could be where you've been the last week or the last 3 years in reference to this, okay? What we have in the second row is where you are going. Typically, since this is a reading for April, it will be throughout this month. It can be into next month as well, or kind of what you don't see coming, the unexpected, that kind of thing. And the last row is indicative of kind of Spirit's advice to you or warnings you might want to heed throughout this process. So we'll get these out. And of course, we're going to get clarifiers out of the psychic deck if you're familiar with that once we get through these. But let's go ahead and get started with these and see what we've got for you, okay? Hopefully you can see these fairly well. Otherwise, I'll certainly be showing you and going through them one by one. So the first thing we have here is the Nine of Cups in reverse, okay? So this is telling me that you've been kind of on the outs, maybe with your friends, your family. You might have just been feeling like you aren't complete too. That could be a feeling of incompleteness for you. So maybe if you're somebody who's really been wanting to have a relationship, a family, and you've just not been able to accomplish that goal for a long time. Maybe you've even been through relationships over the past year, 2 years, you know, and you're just not getting there. You're not getting that family that you want, or you feel like something's missing. You're not feeling complete. There could be some of you that, you know, you're having fertility issues. So you're unable to feel like you have a completed family unit. But for whatever reason, that card is kind of making me feel like it's not that you're unhappy with a family member. I don't see this as like strife with a family as much as I see like you feel like an incompleteness, okay? So like for some of you, maybe I feel like you're either just, you know, you're in a relationship and the relationship is not moving forward in a way that you want it to. Maybe it's just been, you've been in this relationship for a long time. You expected by now to be married, having kids, and your partner's just not doing that or not interested in that. Or for some of you, you don't have a partner, okay? So you're kind of like, you know, I keep dating these people, but they're not on my my same trajectory in life. They're looking for something totally different, so we're just not moving in harmony, we're not moving in sync, and I'm never going to get there. You're feeling that way. Or again, like I said, some of you may be having fertility issues, so you just feel like there's that piece is missing for you, you know, that you just can't complete your family in the way that you want. So I'm seeing that for a lot of you, that just something is missing family-wise for you. It could be too that some of you've lost a family member and it's really kind of set you, it's flipped you. It's kind of put you back. So maybe you've recently, and again, time is fluid. So remember, recently could be last year, you know, it could be early this year, but you're still reeling from it. And every time a holiday comes up, you know, we're facing Easter soon. And maybe that was their, you know, their big grand holiday, their favorite holiday, or something that you guys really spent time together, things like that. But it's really taken its toll on you, or you've been thinking about them a lot. So, you've lost that person, they've passed away, something like that. And it's just really made your family feel like there's a hole there. Something's missing. But that's kind of what I'm seeing with that, more so than like you're just having friction, things aren't working. I don't feel that that's for most of you anyway. I don't feel like that's what's happening here. I feel like there's kind of like a hole in your family unit. The next card is the Page of Swords. So I feel like you have some news coming in, some opportunity coming in, something coming in that is going to, if it hasn't already, it's going to present you with some opportunities. This could be a person that may be of interest to you. If you are looking for someone, if you have been dating to no avail and you're interested in that, this could be somebody coming in that is a potential suitor for that. Or it could just be something that is, bringing news in of something that is of interest to you, to help kind of take your mind off of the fact that you are, kind of displeased in your family life or situation. So this could be like a work opportunity or something else to kind of divert you. But your last card here in where you are now is a Judgment card in reverse. So I feel like here it's kind of like, you aren't seeing things in a clear light. You don't see a clear path. And I don't think it's necessarily that you don't have something in mind that's clear to you. Maybe you do. But it's just that that's what you're hoping for, but it's not coming to fruition in the way that you want it to. So I think with this, it's kind of like, you are looking for this information on high, like what is going on? Why can't I get what I want? Why are things not happening? If you look at the card, they're kind of like raised hands, what's happening? And it's in reverse, because every time you think that you're like almost there, you think that you have the right person, you think that your relationship's about to move forward, you're going to be proposed to, you're going to be pregnant, you're going to be, moving forward, something, like take one step forward and two steps back. So with this, I think what you need to probably do is just kind of try your best not to get a preconceived notion, so that you can just kind of let things flow, let things happen. And if you do that, I think you can kind of free yourself up to, it's like they say, things happen when you least expect it. And I think that's probably the best route for you right now, because if you're expecting things, if you're really putting pressure on yourself, you're going to be so stressed that, number one, if you're trying to have kids, it's going to be harder for you. If you're trying to find the perfect person, you're going to be scaring some of them off just by being so pressed, about it. People can sense that in you, and it comes off sometimes, even though you're not desperate, it comes off sometimes as desperation, those kinds of things. So, I want you to kind of just relax. Again, a lot of times they say the perfect person comes in when you least expect it. When, I've heard doctors say, and again, medical disclaimer, I'm in no way a doctor, but I have heard doctors on TV. I took fertility treatments myself, and I heard doctors say, sometimes things will happen when you least expect it. When you stop trying or when you do this or that, so I do know that that is a common used term. So again, for many of you, that is something that maybe you want to do, is just kind of try to relax if possible on your expectations. Okay. And then let things flow, enjoy what you have. And if there's an opportunity here coming in for something to kind of take your mind off stuff, whether it be work, whether it be somebody who's just entertaining to you, for fun, to spend time with, to do things with, enjoy that. Just enjoy it and stop stressing over what you feel is missing. Okay. Now going forward, let's see what we've got going forward. So we have the Magician. And the Magician is under your 9 of Cups in reverse. So I feel like this is telling me that this is your energy. You have all these tools at your disposal. I feel like this is your energy. I feel like you are going to be able to turn things around. I feel like you're going to have a lot of tools at your disposal. I feel like, again, once you kind of let go of this steadfast, sturdy, it has to happen by this date, by this time, by this is what my outline of life is. This is how I want it to be. I'm very organized. I'm very planned. I want everything in order. I like things to be controlled and neat and nice and tidy and perfect. When you kind of let go of that and you just, utilize all your tools at your disposal to just kind of live your life and let things come into you, I do think that that is going to turn things around and things will start happening for you, whether it's a new relationship, whether it's moving forward of your current relationship, whether it's the family that you wanted, whether it's being closer to loved ones, whether it's you all binding together to kind of support each other on a family member loss, whatever it may be. I do feel like that is going to be a positive thing for you. So again, I think once you start letting go of these steadfast, expectations, you're going to be able to see a lot of these changes, and it's going to be literally, with the Magician, almost a magical feeling for you, because you're kind of like, wow, the stress levels are down here now. And I'm able to actually see improvements, enjoy my life. And I never saw that coming. It's like magic. I never saw that coming. It came out of nowhere. I've been busting my hump to make this happen, trying so hard and nothing. And then all of a sudden I do nothing and it comes. So I think that's a good thing. Because your very next card is Lover's card. Okay. And that's under your Page of Swords. So again, I think that this Page of Swords, they could be a person that is coming in for you. That could be a love for you, a potential suitor for you, or they could just be somebody who's taking your mind off things, that is allowing you to free up some mind space, okay? Allowing you to enjoy yourself and be happier and be freer. Because let's face it, if you are so stressed all the time, you have to be so rigid, you're so worried about things and timelines, and your clock is ticking and this and that, whatever it may be. People sense that, okay? You're putting out vibrations that people sense, okay? But if you are, with this person, even if this isn't a romantic person, and it could very well be, this could be your person coming into you, even if you don't sense it at first, but even if, this person is just a friend that comes in and kind of distracts you and hangs out with you and takes your mind off things. Okay. Once you start putting out those happy vibrations where you're not so stressed, you're not constantly thinking about your timeline and what you need to do and what's not happening. You start putting out those higher frequency vibrations. You're happier, you're more joyful. And when you feel better, you look better, you exude higher vibrations. People see that. You don't, and this sounds awful, and I don't want anybody to take this in the wrong way, but it can come off as you don't reek of desperation, even if you're not desperate. I mean, I understand how that sounds, but you get what I'm saying, okay? You don't seem like you're like under the gun to get something done immediately, and, that can scare people off, but if you just feel like, oh, I'm free, I'm fine, it's fine, I'm not in any hurry, it happens, whatever, chill, that those are usually the people that people gravitate to. I have 2 kids. One of my kids is like, so stressed about everything happening all the time, perfect timing. And people are like, oh, so, let's just say none of the girls really want to be around him. My other son is so chill. He couldn't care less if anybody pays any attention to him or not. He's like, whatevs. And every girl fights to sit next to him at the lunch table at school. Okay. And to be honest with you, my other one's much cuter. Just saying, okay, look, okay, whatever. I don't have a favorite. But I'm just saying, you get my drift. Okay. So I see that this Page of Swords is going to bring you love. Now, whether they're your specific lover or not, I don't get a vibe either way right this second. We'll see how that kind of plays out. I don't get that vibe either way, but I do feel like they are a catalyst in bringing in a lover. Okay. Maybe they know someone, maybe they're friends of someone. If they're not the lover, they're going to be integral in bringing in your lover. Okay. So you are going to get your love. Once you let go of this preconceived notion that you absolutely have to have a love right now, right this second, the perfect love of your life, because the one you've got is just not doing what you need him to do right this second. And the one you've had is blah, 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 and your brain's running a mile a minute and you're freaking out. Okay. So the next spot here is the Tower card in reverse. Okay. So this is where you start to heal. This is where you start to build your foundation. And you're actually able to do that because now, and it's under your Judgment card in reverse. Okay. So now that you've let go of this rigidity, this stress, this anxiety, and you've started to see things happening as the Magician, and you've started to have a new love come in, now you can actually start to really build a foundation, okay? So I'm seeing this, being later in the month, early in the month, maybe you'll start meeting this person, and later in the month, you're actually able to start really being able to visualize, manifest, think about, talk about, really be able to plan, even if it's just in your mind, the potential of building a foundation, because you're actually able to, heal from some of the loss, possibly. If you had loss, you're able to move forward with this new love. And they could be integral in your healing process too. If you did have a loss, if you had a loss, you could have had a loss of a child. Maybe you had a miscarriage, and this person's going to help you heal from that, because now you can try again. That sometimes if you have a miscarriage, that can wreck your relationship. Some people just never recover from that. And maybe that's what caused a major problem here. But now this is a whole new person, and they want to try again with you. And now you feel like you can start over and try a new foundation with this person. That could be possible too for some of you. So keep that in mind. But I do see that you now have love and the chance at a new hope and a new foundation and all these new things coming in, and I'm seeing this happening, later in the month, maybe even into next month. But, certainly it's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to require you kind of stepping back again and letting go, okay, of some of this rigidity and stress and anxiety over what you expect, your expectations, okay? Now, what does Spirit kind of have to say to you or suggest to you in helping these things happen for you? So we have the Devil card in reverse, okay? So the Devil card in reverse is telling me that, you've broken bonds, okay? And with the Devil card in reverse, I think it's just telling me that Spirit's telling you don't tie yourself to anybody that is from your past that may have given you devil energy. So if somebody sees that you're doing really well now, you're healing now, you're feeling better now, if there was somebody from your past that maybe wasn't willing to commit to you, wasn't willing to give you what you needed, wasn't willing to do the things that you were hoping for, and now all of a sudden they see somebody else is willing to give it to you, well, of course, that's when they're going to come around, right? They might have been this Cups in reverse, okay? You were with them for a while, and you just could not get them to commit to a family, could not get them to commit to marriage or something in a way that you really wanted to. Or maybe, if you did have a loss with them, like I said, a miscarriage, something of that nature, and they were just like, well, I'm not trying again, I'm done, too bad, too sad, something very hardcore like that. I think what Spirit's trying to tell you is they may very well try to come back in to you, but do not listen to them at all. There is a reason that they are no longer part of your life. Do not let them back in. It will wreck what you have going here, and you have really literally created your own magic. You've created your own happiness. So by letting go of these people, these notions, the negativity, all of that. So don't go down that road again. Don't do it, okay? So I think Spirit's just telling you, don't let anybody back in that was ever somebody who held you back or made you feel like you were stressed or under the gun or not proceeding or progressing in the way you felt like you needed to do, because that's not showing support. That's not showing what you needed, okay? That's devil energy. We're not letting that back in, okay? Then we have the Eight of Cups, okay? And this is under the Lovers card and the Page of Swords card. So this is telling me that, with this lover, you are moving forward, and you may be moving away from a lot of negative people, negative energy, negative things. You may physically be moving away from them. You may be moving away where you're going on just a trip. Could be even like a honeymoon where you're just going away for a little bit. You may also, this could be a long distance situation where you're moving to be with them. But I do see that Spirit is telling me that, there are going to be some people that are negative you may need to leave behind. There may be some preconceived notions, family-wise, that you need to leave behind to start a new family with this person. So if that's the case, leave these notions. These could just be notions. This could be the family you had mentally built in your head, the perfect, ideal family, okay? And Spirit's saying, listen, there's no such thing as an ideal family, okay? Move ahead with this person and create a new ideal family with this person, okay? Don't get stuck back here in this rigidity, because we know what it did to you back here. It ruined everything. Just move forward with this person and enjoy what you have. It's under your Lover's card. Enjoy that person. Enjoy that new opportunity that this Page of Swords has either introduced you to or literally brought to you, okay? And then your last card is the Four of Pentacles in reverse, okay? So whatever you're doing moving forward is allowing you to also have some financial abundance here, because you're no longer feeling like you are having to hold tight to your coin. You know, you're able to enjoy a little bit more. So maybe you are moving away for this person's job, this person's life, and maybe that's not what you specifically had in mind. You know, you had in your brain, I'm going to live right here next to my sister, next to my brother, next to my mom and dad. I'm going to live right there in that house on this street. And, you know, this is what you had. But Spirit's saying, don't get stuck in that, because it can be a lot more enjoyable to go with the flow. That's what kind of got you this place in the first place. Enjoy it, live it, love it, and it could actually lead to some financial freedoms as well. So again, that's under your Tower card, where you're building financial, where you're building foundational strength, okay? You might be building financial strength as well by just, again, going with the flow, okay? So I think the main thing I'm seeing here in everything is that you need to let go of any preconceived notions you've had, any rigidity you've had, any thoughts you've already had, or ideas that you may have had of what is the perfect family, what you feel like you have to have by a certain age, by a certain time, by a certain date, by any of that. And keep an open mind. I think that's the big key here, is open mind, 100,000,000,000% open mind. So let's get some clarifiers on these and see what they tell us. How about this Nine of Cups in reverse? Positive movement forward, okay? So again, that's telling me that, you know, you need to get moving out of this situation. So you kind of know that, you've already known that. You've got to get out of that situation. That situation is not positive for you. It doesn't feel good. You feel like something's missing. You feel like there's a hole there. You feel sad there, and you need to get out of it. We know that. So let's see what we've got here on the Page of Swords. Memories of love. Okay. So I do think that you are reflecting on something that you miss, somebody that you miss. And this Page of Swords is giving you the opportunity to kind of, you know, distract you, if nothing else. Again, this could be the very one that you end up with that is the love, or it could just be a distraction and they introduce you to that. But I do think this is the catalyst that gets you out of your doldrums, gets you out of your spot. So, you know, if there's somebody that comes into you and they want to spend quality time with you and fun, and that's all you see out of it, that's fine. If it's taking your mind off things that are making you unhappy, it's worth that, okay? Judgment in reverse. So deception and envy. And I think, again, this is the thing. You've been deceiving yourself. You've been envious of others, okay? You've been trying to force yourself to fit into what you feel is the perfect life, okay? What a life that you've created in your mind. Maybe you're envious of, you know, this person because they have 2.3 kids. They live in a 4-bedroom house on this street near your parents, and they go to this school and they do whatever, okay? So let's see what the Magician has here. This was a jumper, so we'll check that in a second. But the deception and envy, I think, is you deceiving yourself into that. And you have to get out of that, okay? Once you're able to get out of that and realize that you don't have to have that. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. You don't have to be a certain way. You create your own life, and you don't have to compare yourself to anybody or anything or be on any timeline. You only have to do what makes you happy, okay? And your happiness is not defined by a timeline or by what Joe Schmo down the street does, okay? It shouldn't be anyway. Just let yourself be. Give yourself a break, okay? You'll be able to enjoy yourself a lot more, all right? Our jumper here was foundation and achievements, and this is where your Magician comes in. And again, I think this is you actually using all your tools together to start creating that. You're starting to create new foundations, okay? You're starting to realize that you don't need those things. You're starting to let go of what foundations and achievements you thought you had to have to be considered a success, okay? You had to be at this point in your life. You had to have this many kids, this job, be married, have this ring, have that wedding dress, this many guests at your wedding, that kind of cake, you know. You don't need that, okay? You don't need any of that stuff. You need what you need to make you happy, okay? So the Lover's card here is material and spiritual prosperity. And again, your spiritual prosperity is that you're finding love, okay? But I do feel like there's going to be material prosperity with this because, again, number one, it's always, usually anyways, let me say usually. Usually it's more advantageous when you're combining homes and houses and things like that because you have two incomes instead of one, things like that for most people, okay? But we see down here that it ends up being materially prosperous for you a little bit. You're less stressed about funds and holding tight to coins. So, we got another jumper here. Okay, so on your tower, we have truth. Okay, so this is under your deception and envy is truth. So again, this is like the dichotomy here is that once you've let go of this idea, deceiving yourself, being envious of others, you've let go of it. You have created your own way and you've allowed yourself to find love in your own time, on your own path, opened your mind, then you see that your truth is what you want, not what anybody else has, not on a specific time frame, whatever. And this is where this is on your tower in reverse. So this is where once you found your own truth, you can start to really build a good foundation, okay? You can start to build a life with somebody and at your own pace and be happy. You know, if you never get a certain thing, a house that you want, you never get a certain car that you've dreamed of, if you find the love of your life, that'll be good enough for you. You know, you start to accept those truths, okay? Once you realize that you don't have to compare yourself to anybody else. Once certain things fall into place, the rest becomes less important, okay? So how about this devil energy down here? Discontent and boredom. And again, I think this is just spirit is telling you that there is somebody who's very discontent with your happiness without them, probably your ex or somebody that you've left. They did not think that you would go on and do well. They did not think you would go on and find somebody else. They've probably watched you maybe even date other people or be miserable or be upset or be stressed that you aren't on your timeline, and they've enjoyed that. They've relished that because they are devil energy. They're a miserable person themselves, and misery loves company, okay? So they're discontent, and they're especially discontent now that they see you doing well. They see you building foundations and achievements. They see you having material and spiritual prosperity. They see you finding your truth, and that is burning them up, okay? So they may try to come in and wreak havoc. They may try to come in and be, trying to get you back just because, but absolutely Spirit's telling you this person they're just bored and they're just discontent. Do not bother with them, no matter what, okay? They're devil energy. Don't bother with them. This Eight of Cups, we have moving on. Again, it's literally you moving on, like we said. So I think that that's pretty clear. You may have to move on with this person. Again, this is under your material and spiritual prosperity. So again, you may have to, they may have to take a job somewhere else. You may have to move with them. It may not be what you initially planned, to live on said street and work at said job and be by your parents and be the stay-at-home mom with 2.3 kids and yada, yada, yada. So it may be something where you have to move away from friends and family to be with this person. You may have to go certain places. You may have to do certain things. Okay. But again, if you're with the one that you love, this is a new idea for you. Go with the flow. Spirit's telling you, go with the flow. You will not regret it. Don't be so rigid, okay? And this Four of Pentacles in reverse, okay? Triumphant success. So again, I think Spirit's telling you again, by doing this, by letting go of this where you're deceiving yourself into believing you have to have certain things, by rebuilding your foundation and knowing your own truth, letting go, becoming free flowing with this person, this love, this what have you, you're going to have triumphant success, not just in a relationship, but I do believe financially as well, because you're no longer having to hold tight to coin here. You are able to realistically have some funds. It looks like it may require you move. You know, they may get a great job offer somewhere, or they may live somewhere else where they make really good money and you move to them. And it wasn't what you had planned initially, but you go with it and it works out really well for you. But again, by being open, by being, open-minded and less rigid, you are going to be able to have triumphant success all around. Okay. So let's get three last cards here of just general advice and see what they say for you and close this out. Okay. So we have, what is has no bearing on what will be. Okay. What does your ideal life look like and feel like? And again, I think this is the entire theme of this. Okay. So what's been has no bearing on what's going to be. Okay. So what your ideal life looked like, it doesn't have any bearing on what might be. Okay. Stop being so rigid about it and go with the flow a little bit. Okay. Your ideal life may not look exactly like what you had in mind. It may not end up that way, but what will be may be nothing like what you have in mind now, but it's still going to be great. Okay. And I think Spirit's just like reiterating that. So your purpose is a personal expansion. How can you be more intentional with your choices and live with more purpose? Okay. So again, you know that there's something you've been wanting. You've been wanting it so much that you've almost been self-sabotaging yourself on getting it, I feel like. Okay. But if you let yourself just kind of ride it out and go with it, it may change the things that you end up valuing. You may change the way you feel about certain things. So you may expand the way you look at things. You may decide, hey, our life is so great being jet setters and traveling around because he's got a great job and we travel a lot, that maybe you change your mind on wanting to be a stay-at-home mom with kids and things like that. I'm not saying you will, but I'm just saying it's an expansive chance that once you've seen a whole new side of things, walked in different shoes, it could change the way you view things, but you have to keep your mind open to see those things. Okay. And turn your worry into wonder. Surrender to the experience. What possibilities can you dream into reality? Again, this is just Spirit telling you for the millionth time. Don't get stuck in a rut about I have to have this and I've got to have it by said time and my clock is ticking, and if I don't have it by this time, I'll be too late, and all my friends have it by this time and I'm already behind, and yada yada yada. Surrender to the experience. Just let it flow. Let it flow, and you'll be very excited with what you'll come out with. You'll expand your entire horizon. You'll see things that you never imagined, I believe. Okay. And it'll be totally different than what you've had now, because what will be has no bearing on what is right now. So again, and as far as if you're a numerology person, it does look like we have the 6 coming up 1, 2, 3 times in the same row. Okay. So a 6 is the most dominant number I see here, and with it coming in the same row, I do feel like maybe that is something that should be taken into account for you if that's a lucky number for you, or a number that you have in mind that something applies to that. I think the 6 is the most commonly seen number here. So anyway, I hope this did resonate with you. If it did, please do like, subscribe, share, all that great stuff. Otherwise, I hope to see you back this weekend for your weekend energy reading into next weekend and next week weekend energy reading. Bye.